Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. If you have been scrolling through your social media feeds in the last 48 hours, you have undoubtedly seen it. It is the video that is currently setting the tennis world on fire. It is not a match point. It is not a trophy ceremony. It is something far more raw, far more visceral, and frankly, far more terrifying for anyone standing on the other side of the net. I am talking, of course, about the footage coming out of Melbourne Park featuring the pride of the Philippines, Alexandra Eala. They are calling it the Spartan training video for a reason. In a sport often defined by grace and elegance, Alex Eala has chosen violence. Controlled, disciplined, methodical violence. We are seeing a version of Eala that we have never seen before. We have watched her grow from a junior prodigy into a tour-level contender, but what we are witnessing right now, on the eve of the 2026 Australian Open, is a metamorphosis. The footage shows a player who has stripped away the niceties of the game and replaced them with sheer, unadulterated iron. The medicine ball slams. The resistance band sprints that look less like tennis drills and more like NFL combined training. The look in her eyes that suggests she isn't just here to participate. She is here to conquer. And the timing? The timing could not be more perfect. Or, if you are her opponent, more disastrous. We are hours away, mere hours, from one of the most anticipated first-round clashes of this entire tournament. Alex Eala versus Alicia Parks. This is not just a match. It is a collision of two distinct tennis philosophies. On one side, you have the American Alicia Parks, a player known for one of the biggest serves in women's tennis, a power hitter who can take the racket out of your hands, a woman who, when she is on, plays top 10 tennis. On the other side, you have Eala, fresh off a breakthrough 2025 season where she cracked the top 50, finally realizing that immense potential we all knew was there. But this Eala, this Spartan Eala we are seeing in Australia, she is different. She is leaner, she is faster, and she is hitting the ball with a heaviness that is turning heads on the practice courts. Today, we are doing a complete deep dive. We are not just skimming the surface. We're going to break down every single frame of that viral training session and explain exactly why it matters for her mechanics. We are going to analyze the tactical nightmare that is Alicia Parks and why this specific matchup is the ultimate test for Eala's new physical regime. We're going to talk about the venue, the heat of Melbourne, the home court advantage provided by the massive Filipino community, and the legacy of the Rafa Nadal Academy that is clearly coursing through Eala's veins right now. This is the story of a girl who became a warrior. This is the story of the Spartan of Melbourne. This is the pre-match analysis to end all analyses. Buckle up, because we're going deep. Let's start with the headline. The Spartan. Why is this specific video resonating so much? We see training clips all the time. We see IGA Swiatek doing her reaction drills. We see Sabalenka hitting the gym. But there's a specific texture to this Eala footage. It is the intensity. There's a moment in the clip, you know the one, where she is doing rotational core work with a weighted ball. Most players do this to maintain stability. Eala is doing it with a ferocity that implies she is trying to punch a hole through the wall. This is the Rafa Nadal DNA. We have to remember where she came from. She spent her formative years in Manacor, absorbing the ethos of the greatest fighter the sport has ever seen. For years, we saw the technical polish. We saw the lefty spin. But we always wondered, does she have the physical durability to grind down the power hitters on the WTA Tour? That video is her answer. The answer is a resounding, deafening yes. And she needs it, because Alicia Parks is no ordinary first-round opponent. Do not let the ranking of world number 100 fool you. Parks has been as high as number 40. She has a WTA title. She has a serve that rivals the men's tour in speed. When Parks is firing, she doesn't let you play tennis. She hits aces. She hits return winners. She ends points in 3 shots. If Eala comes out flat, if Eala is physically passive, she will be blown off the court in 45 minutes. That is the danger. That is the threat level. But here is the twist. Parks is struggling. She has been inconsistent. She has lost matches she shouldn't lose. She is fragile right now. And Eala smells blood. That is what the Spartan training is about. It's about sending a message before the first ball is even struck. It's about walking onto court 6 and having your opponent look at your definition, look at your movement, and think, I am in for a long, painful day. We are also going to discuss the stakes of this Australian Open. For Eala, 2025 was a breakthrough. The wins over Swiatek in Miami, the U.S. Open main draw win. But 2026? 2026 is the year of establishment. She is defending points. She is now the hunted, not just a hunter. A first-round exit here would be a setback. A deep run? It cements her as a legitimate second-week threat in majors. The pressure is immense. The expectations from the Philippines are, as always, astronomical. But looking at her in Australia right now, she doesn't look burdened. She looks ready. So, how does a Spartan prepare for a server like Parks? How do you neutralize a weapon that you can't even touch half the time? You do it with legs. You do it with explosive reaction times. You do it by being so physically robust that when the rally extends beyond 4 shots, you own the court. That viral video isn't just fitness porn for social media likes. It is a tactical declaration. She is telling Parks, you better hit an ace, because if I get a racket on it, the ball is coming back, and I am not going to miss. We're going to break down the mechanics of the matchup. Forehand to forehand, the lefty advantage serving out wide to the Parks backhand. The mental game of holding serve against a power returner. We will look at the weather forecast. 27 degrees Celsius, fast courts, and who that favors. But mostly, we are here to celebrate the evolution of an athlete. There is something incredibly satisfying about watching a young player decide that good is not enough, that talented is not enough. To see Alex Eala embrace the grind, to see her sweat equity paying dividends in her physique and her confidence, is inspiring. This is the preamble. The stage is set. The crowd is gathering. The Spartan is ready. The question is Alicia Parks ready for the storm that is coming? Let's not waste another second. Let's get into the deep dive analysis. Let's transition to the main event. The analysis of this transformation. When we use the word Spartan, it evokes imagery of discipline, austerity, and supreme physical conditioning. Why has a specific label attached itself to Alex Eala this week? To understand this, we have to look at the modern landscape of women's tennis. For the last decade, the WTA has been dominated by power. The Serena Williams era ushered in a baseline of athleticism that was non-negotiable. Then came the era of Swiatek and Sabalenka, players who are not just powerful but are supreme athletes. Swiatek moves like a gymnast. Sabalenka moves like a linebacker. For a long time, the criticism, or perhaps the concern, regarding Alex Eala was her physicality. She had the hands. She had the tennis IQ. But in the third set, against a heavy hitter, could she hold her ground? The video coming out of Australia answers that question by obliterating the premise. If you analyze the specific drills she is doing, they are plyometric heavy. We see box jumps focusing on explosive vertical power. In tennis, why does vertical power matter? You aren't dunking a basketball, but the kinetic chain starts from the ground. When you see Eala loading up for that lefty forehand, the power doesn't come from the arm. It comes from the push-off. The Spartan training is focused on ground reaction force. She is training her legs to drive into the hard court so that the energy transfers up through the hips, into the rotation of the torso, and explodes out through the racket head. This is the heavy ball theory. You will hear commentators talk about a player hitting a heavy ball. It's not just speed, it's spin and weight. Nadal hits the heaviest ball in history. Eala, his student, is now unlocking that same physics by increasing her leg strength and rotational core stability, which we saw vividly in the medicine ball segments of the video. She is adding RPMs, revolutions per minute, to her forehand. Against Alicia Parks, this is the key. Parks hits flat and hard. The antidote to flat, hard power is heavy, dipping topspin that pushes the opponent back. Eala cannot out-hit Parks in a flat slapping contest. She will lose that, but she can push Parks back behind the baseline with high kicking, heavy topspin balls that force Parks to hit from uncomfortable positions. That video proves she has done the work to execute that game plan for 3 hours if necessary. Furthermore, let's talk about the suffering aspect of the video. the grimaces, the sweat, the exhaustion in the Rafa Nadal Academy. They preach the concept of suffering on the court, learning to enjoy the difficulty. Eala looks comfortable in the uncomfortable. That is a mental callous. When she is down a break point, or when it is 4-4 in the deciding set, she will flash back to those sprints in the Australian heat. She will know she has paid the price in advance. That is confidence. Confidence isn't thinking you are great. Confidence is knowing you are prepared. Eala looks prepared. Segment B, the opponent decoding Alicia Parks. Now, we must give due respect and analysis to the opponent, Alicia Parks. It is dangerous to overlook her. If you only look at her recent form, which, let's be honest, has been poor, you might think this is a walkover for Eala. That would be a fatal mistake. Alicia Parks is an enigma. She is one of the most physically gifted athletes on the tour. She stands 6'1". Her wingspan is massive, and her serve? It is a cannon. When she won the title in Lyon back in 2023, she was unplayable. She was hitting aces for fun. She beat Caroline Garcia in France, indoors. That version of Alicia Parks is top 20 material. However, the Alicia Parks of late 2025 and early 2026 has been a shadow of that player. She has struggled with double faults. The yips on the serve are a real thing. When her first serve percentage drops below 50%, her game collapses. She starts pressing on the return, going for lines that aren't there, and the unforced error count skyrockets. Here's a tactical breakdown of Parks. She wants short points. She wants serve, return, winner, or serve, weak return, put away. She hates rhythm. She hates extended rallies. She hates being made to move laterally. This is where the matchup becomes fascinating. Eala is a rhythm player who is learning to be aggressive. Parks is an aggressive player who has no rhythm. If Eala can extend the rally past 4 shots, her winning percentage goes up to probably 70 to 80%. Parks does not want to grind. She doesn't have the patience or the shot tolerance for a 20-ball rally. Eala, with her new Spartan fitness, will be happy to run all day. But the danger remains. Parks can take the racket out of your hands. Eala's serve is improved, but it is not a cannon. If Eala leaves her second serve hanging in the middle of the box, Parks will crush it. Eala needs to be incredibly precise with her placement. She needs to use a lefty slider out wide to the ad court to stretch Parks. She needs to serve into body to jam her long arms. This match will be decided on the Eala serve. If Eala holds comfortably, the pressure on Parks will mount. If Parks starts breaking Eala early, the American will gain confidence, and a confident Alicia Parks is a terrifying prospect. Segment C, the arena, Melbourne Park, and the Filipino factor. Context is everything. This match isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening at the Australian Open, the Happy Slam. But for Filipino players, it is something else entirely. It is the Home Slam. Australia hosts a massive Filipino diaspora. We have seen it time and time again. When a Filipino athlete competes in Melbourne, the crowd support is electric. It is loud. It is passionate. It feels like Manila. We saw snippets of this during her qualifying runs in previous years. But now, in the main draw, the atmosphere will be different. This is a double-edged sword. On one hand, the energy is a massive boost. When Eala hits a winner, the roar will be deafening. It will demoralize Parks, who might feel like she is playing an away match in her own country. On the other hand, the pressure, the expectations. Alex Eala knows she is carrying the flag. She knows that every forehand she hits is being watched by millions back home and thousands in the stands. The Spartan training is also mental armor against this pressure. By focusing on the work, on the physical sensation of the game, she can block out the noise. Let's also talk about the conditions. Melbourne in January can be brutal. The forecast is looking at roughly 27 degrees Celsius, warm, but not the scorching 40-degree heat waves we sometimes see. However, the courts at Melbourne Park are playing fast this year. Fast, hard courts usually favor the big server Parks. But they also reward the player who takes the ball early, Eala. Eala excels at taking time away from her opponents. If she can stand on the baseline and redirect Parks' pace, The speed of the court will actually help her. She won't have to generate all the power herself. She can use Parks' pace against her. This is a classic judoka strategy. Use the opponent's strength to throw them. Parks hits hard? Fine. Eala blocks it back deep, uses the pace, and catches Parks off balance. Segment D, the narrative arc from Prodigy to professional. To truly appreciate this moment, this Ready versus Parks moment, we need to zoom out and look at the arc of Alex Eala's career leading up to January 2026. We all remember the Junior Grand Slam titles. The U.S. Open Juniors, the Australian Open Doubles. Those were the days of promise. But the transition to the Pro Tour is the graveyard of prodigies. So many junior champions never make it. They get chewed up by the grind of the ITF circuit. They can't handle the travel, the losses, the physical demands. Alex Eala did it the hard way. She didn't get a million wild cards handed to her. She went to the ITF trenches. She played in Yekla, in Manipur, in Pune. She ground out ranking points in the 25 Burmese Chats and 60 Burmese Chats. 2025 was a turning point, that match against IGA Swiatek in Miami. Even though it was a learning experience, and her subsequent victories against top-tier opponents later in the year proved she belonged. Breaking the top 50 was a validation. But 2026 is different. She is no longer the up-and-coming teenager. She is 20 years old, approaching 21. She is a tennis professional. The Spartan video signifies the end of her childhood in tennis terms. It is a declaration of adulthood. She is taking ownership of her body and her career. The Spartan moniker also draws a beautiful parallel to her mentor, Rafa Nadal. We all know the story. The uncle, the academy, the grit. Eala is the most successful exporter of the Rafa Nadal Academy system who isn't a Spaniard. She carries that philosophy. And what is the core of that philosophy? Aguanta. Endure. Against Parks, she will need to endure. There will be moments where Parks hits 3 aces in a row. There will be moments where Parks blasts a winner that makes Eala look slow. In those moments, the Spartan mindset must kick in. Do not panic. Do not waver. Stick to the plan. Make her play one more ball. This match is a gatekeeper moment. If Eala wins, she likely faces a seed in the next round, possibly Machova or Christian. She enters the tournament proper. If she loses, it's a stumbling block. But looking at her preparation, looking at that video, I do not see a player who is planning to stumble. I see a player who is planning to sprint. As we begin to wrap up this extensive coverage, let's bring it back to the core emotion of this story. Why does this matter? Why is a training video going viral? Why are we analyzing a first-round match with the intensity of a Grand Slam final? It matters because sport are about hope and projection. When we watch Alex Eala, specifically as Filipino fans or fans of the underdog narrative, we are projecting our own desire for excellence onto her. We want to see hard work rewarded. We live in a world that often rewards shortcuts, that rewards an easy path. The viral nature of the Spartan training video is proof that people still respect the grind. They respect the sweat. There is something deeply noble about watching a young woman push a sled, slam a medicine ball, and sprint until her lungs burn, all for a moment that might last only 2 hours on a tennis court. That video is a promise. It is a promise from Alex Eala to her fans. I have done everything in my power to be ready. As a fan, that is all you can ask for. You cannot ask for a win. Sports are unpredictable. The ball clips the net. The line judge makes a call. The opponent plays the match of their life. You cannot guarantee a W, but you can guarantee preparation. You can guarantee effort. And Eala has guaranteed it. The matchup against Alicia Parks is perfect. It is the perfect test for this new version of Eala. Parks is a chaos agent. She is the unpredictable storm. Eala is the structure, the discipline, the calm eye of the storm. My prediction? I believe the discipline wins. I believe that over the course of 3 sets, the player who has a plan B, a plan C, and the legs to execute will triumph over a player who only has a plan A. Alicia Parks is a terrifying plan A, serve big, hit hard. But if Eala neutralizes that, and her training suggests she has the reaction speed and stability to do so, Parks will run out of ideas. I expect a tight first set, maybe a tiebreak. Parks will come out swinging. But as the match wears on, as the Australian sun beats down, as the rallies get longer, watch for Eala's legs. Watch for that low center gravity. Watch for the Spartan conditioning to take over. I see Eala winning in 3 sets, or perhaps a tight 2-setter if she can break the Parks spirit early. This is more than just a match. It is the unveiling of Alex Eala 2.0. The Spartan era has begun. So, to all of you watching, set your alarms. Check your local listings. Do not miss this match. Whether you are in Manila, in Melbourne, in New York, or anywhere in between, tune in because you aren't just watching a tennis match. You are watching the result of thousands of hours of unseen work coming into the light. And to Alex Eala, if you're somehow watching this, you are ready. The work is done. The Spartan armor is forged. Go out there and take what is yours. Now, I want to hear from you. The Spartan video was impressive, but what is the one key factor you think will decide this match? Is it Eala's return of serve? Or is it Alicia Parks' mental state? Drop your analysis in the comments below. I will be down there reading the best tactical breakdowns and responding to your predictions. And if you want me to do a post-match tactical review immediately after the final point is played, hit that like button and let me know. Until then, keep your eye on the ball and let's get ready for some Australian Open magic. I'll see you in the next one.